Welcome to TBR
$400
Lowdown.
later, Naomi will be the new and improved TBR Lowdown.
Listen, we are just starting, and we're trying to figure out our home setup for recording. It's a work in progress. You know what I mean?
Welcome to the early days of TBR Lowdown.
Early days.
You shall be our OGs. You are
our OGs. We're not even 4 months old. We just came home from the hospital. We're not even 4 months old yet, or maybe we'll be by the time this episode airs. We'll be 4 months old. So
I guess so. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know when any of these things go.
We'll be 4 or 5 months old. We're new, is what we're saying.
Because you told me I'm not allowed to type. Now all I want to do is type.
It's like with anything in the world. If you say you can't do it, you're gonna want to do it.
Speaking of like children, I am a child.
You are
said,
not.
Don't do it, and I said.
But I want to. You may type on your phone. See?
Not the same.
Yeah. So, what's happening today?
I don't know. The world.
The world and.
So I had this random idea that we could talk about books we wish we could read for the first time again. Because sometimes you just finish a book and you're like, I'm never going to have that experience again. Like, it'll never be the first time again.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess every book is like that, but sometimes it hits hard.
Every book is not like that. I mean, because you don't think about that with every book. I know I don't.
But you're never going to read any book, like, again.
You're
it's not
not.
going to be like the first time. But some books,
the
it's
thought
like.
about it, like.
Yeah.
That's not every book. You know what I mean?
That's not every book, no. But, yeah, so that was like, I'm curious to see what yours are. I'm sure you can guess a few of mine.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to know all of them. Well, you probably do know all of them. There's probably a few you think should be on here, but...
I mean, I don't know. The problem is, well, not the problem, but, like, the thing is, we talk books, aside from the podcast, we talk books so much all the time, who the hell knows? We're always talking books.
It's true.
So...
Yeah.
This should be very interesting. So we've got how many books each? We've got 8 books,
8.
right? Yes, I've got 8. You've got 8. Mm-hmm. I had 5, but someone said, "Oh no, I have 8." So then I had to go back to the shelves and get 3 more.
Sorry.
That was fun.
Sorry, not sorry. Why don't you go first?
I'm gonna go first. This is the only book that I believe that I have not. No, this is the only book that I have raved about several times before, but I just have to mention it again, and it's The Historian by Alyssa Kostova. Because, yes, Alyssa and I, buddy, read this together in 2020, and it was fantastic. We think it should go in the dark academia category. There's lots of talk about professors and being a grad student and working on papers and researching papers, and
I think the aesthetics are very
it's very dark
academia.
And we'll talk about that because we're going to have a conversation about dark academia.
We're gonna dive back into this dark academia. What the heck is it in another episode?
Yeah, but this is essentially another Dracula story, but told from a very different perspective, and it really was so immersive. And it's a thick book. We like them chunky. It's over 600 pages, but you're traveling to so many different places, and it's really an adventure and a journey. And as thick as this book is, trust me when I say that from beginning to end, you don't want to leave the book.
Yeah.
You just don't. You are there.
And the audiobook is phenomenal. It was one of the... So I had originally started reading this years ago, and I had the audiobook, and I was listening to it. And I don't know what happened. And then somehow I lost that Audible account. And then I never really went back into it. And, things happen. And it was probably one of the first audiobooks I ever listened to. And it is so good.
It is a good audiobook. I agree. It's really good. I had a hope and a desire to reread this again in October of this year. But then something else happened in my life that said you can't
Naomi's
do it.
been working on a little secret project that maybe at some point we can talk about, but it's been taking over her life.
Yeah.
in a way that every time she gives me an update, I'm like, How is there more?
How? But I'm hoping that when
we'll let you in on that secret at some point.
Yeah, it'll have to be after January 13th. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping that during my end of year vacation that I normally take in December that I can squeeze this in, because ever since we read it, I think about it all the time. So that's The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova.
It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful book. Where do I want to go? I just kind of grabbed things. Oh, let's go somewhere easy. Strange the Dreamer, which I have by Laini Taylor, because I've definitely read it before. I've definitely read it before.
Yes,
Alyssa. That's the point of this pod. Okay, maybe my brain works now. I'm gonna Fonzie it, and maybe it works. I have read it twice now, and it's not the same the second time around, but it's still so good. This is like this beautifully lyrical fantasy story that takes you on a journey, that brings you to this like beautiful world that's in chaos, and I don't want to spoil anything in any way, but it is like bitterly sweet, and it is romantic, and it is just phenomenal, and you kind of just have to just read it. If for some reason you haven't read Strange the Dreamer, you have to read this book. And we are big proponents of audiobooks in general, but I love the audiobook for this because I love just being able to like lay back and just like let the writing wash over me, because Laini Taylor is a beautiful, beautiful writer, and
she tells no lies, folks. I read that this year, and everything she's saying is so true. I would also like to read it again, but I need to get Muse of Nightmares, which is the second book, because I would want to read that right after, but I thought it was a great book.
You don't have Muse of Nightmares yet?
I don't.
Look at me like hugging and rocking it.
I got my hardcover edition and the discounted part of Books A Million. So when I go back to Books A Million this month, December, I'm hoping they'll have the hardcover edition of Muse of Nightmares. Because it's been a few months. Because remember, I got that over the summer.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they may have the second one out now in the discounted section.
Yeah. So I have the special edition from LitJoy of both.
It's
and then
beautiful, too.
And it's gorgeous. And I have this in paperback, and I need Muse of Nightmares in this paperback because I love the paperbacks. They're really pretty. But I also now, thanks to Emma, thank you, Emma, I have the hard copies as well. I have a full set of the hard copies because I had Muse of Nightmares in hard copy and this in hard. I keep calling it hardback, in hard copy, in hardback. Yeah. This is like my mental glitch.
People say hard copy, though, all the time. I hear that, too.
And then I had this in paperback. So the last thing I need is the paperback of Muse of Nightmares. One day I will find it for cheap, and I'm going to snag it.
Let me ask you something. I know that she has that other series, because that's other series got a brand new bone. Yeah, that got a brand new like cover. Have you read that?
I haven't read that yet, and
I'm just curious, and I'm wondering, is it like something that's we're missing out on, or what?
Well, according to Lacey, who's read both of them, our friend Lacey, she thinks Daughter of Smoke and Bone is even better than this.
Really?
So, I mean, I have no pony in this race. Yeah. Because I don't know. But I one day I will do it. I just haven't done it yet. Because I don't know. For some reason, I'm scared to maybe dethrone Strange the Dreamer.
But you know what? That's not possible, because Strange the Dreamer will always be wonderful, no matter how good her other series is. We should get book 1 from the library.
I mean, I have it. You should get it from the library.
You have it?
I have the whole trilogy.
Hell, I'll get it from the library. Book 1. And maybe like whenever the new year starts. And let's read it and see what it's like. I'm just very curious.
Yeah, I know people really love it. I mean, I don't think it's going to be bad. I'm scared to dethrone Strange the Dreamer, even though I just threw my paperback on the floor like...
Done with you. Yeah.
It's like I did with the potatoes the other night.
Oh my gosh. If anyone has read, what's the name of the series again by Laini Taylor?
Daughter of Smoke and Bone.
If anyone's read that, let us know what you thought about it. Good, bad, indifferent. Shall we dig into it? What's the deal? Let us know. We're curious.
We're always curious. Anyway, what you got next?
All right, for my second book, what is this, 2021? So I believe that Atria sent this to me early last year, and it is Against the Loveless World. Oh, the last name by Susan. I don't know. I'm not going to try it. I don't want to butcher it. But not only is the cover beautiful and textured,
people love that book
because this book is amazing. So in this story, how do you say her name? Nair. She's telling the story from an Israeli solitary confinement cell. And so for the whole, well, in the beginning, you're trying to figure out why is she there? How does she get there? What's going on? And so the book slowly unravels all the actions and all the things that she did that landed her in this position. And I'm telling you, this author, this woman can write. She can write. I felt like I was there with them. Everything felt so real to me. It was an extremely visual story. And it was very beautiful. And
my phone vibrated and it scared me.
Oh, I'd never heard of her before. She's not a new author. She is the internationally best-selling author of Mornings and Janine. So she's not new, but she's new to me.
She's new to you.
She's new to me. And this book was absolutely incredible.
Against the Loveless World.
Against the Loveless World. These will all be in the show notes. I think that you would really get into this. If you get it, I'll read it with you.
All right,
again.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
I'll have to
see
if the book barn has it, because the book barn might, because I feel like that's the kind of thing that ends up at the book barn.
Yeah,
which is
so
weird.
good.
Like my book barn, it's like judging the my book barn and who donates things. Like that looks like something that somebody would have donated. Like there's somebody in my community that reads some really good books, and then it's just like done.
Well,
gets rid of them.
If I see it on my end, I'll just pick up a copy for you and send it to you. But I do think you would really enjoy it.
I do have your annotated Sherlock Holmeses to send to you.
Thank you. And I want to say this is not like an easy, fun story. This is very hard in a lot of ways, and
I
kind
like
of heartbreaking. Things. No, I want because I don't want the people to think this is some kind of a light,
there's other people that are
laissez-faire kind of a book. There's some hard-hitting things in here, some very heartbreaking things in here. It's probably going to be sensitive for some readers. Just know that going in. This is not like a lighthearted
book. Look it up
book.
Before you read it.
Yeah, you may want to read the synopsis, but it's just so well done. And I highly recommend it.
Yeah, we're not good at trigger warnings because I don't think either you or I are very good at being we don't get triggered.
Don't look to me for trigger warnings. Yeah.
So sometimes I think we forget.
I forget all the time.
Might be triggering. Let's go somewhere. Clara and the Sun.
Yes. Thank you for telling me to read that, by the way. Thank you for telling me to read that.
I think about this, I feel like all the time.
You're not the only one.
I'll just randomly think about this intersection of like the environment and technology and humanity and family. And it is such a good book. And I mean, I think that just explains it. It is like a literary sci-fi novel, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And it is phenomenal. I know that I feel like in the book community, it's a little bit divided. You either are absolutely in love with this book or you were kind of like, I don't get the hype.
Yep.
But the writing is so good. And that story with that mom and daughter and it's so heartbreaking, and also I feel like you have a lot of empathy. Like you're like, I get why this is happening.
Yeah, towards the middle to the end, you start having empathy. In the beginning, you just think the mom is shady. You don't know what the heck's going on.
Yeah, and so you have this. It's very unsettling, but then it's also told from the perspective of this AI, and so it's not a direct narration of the world in like our kind of human perspective. It's like having an alien show up in your world and explain it. So it forces you to look at some of the things that we do to the world
for sure
from outside of your own perspective. Like it is so good. Just read the stinking book. I love this book. This book. I listened to it and then I was like, I have to get it.
I wish I would have bought it. So I'll be on the lookout for like a discounted copy.
And I bought this at a regular old bookstore, like full price.
You did.
Not even a Barnes & Noble discount. I was like, Kaju, you get all my money.
You did.
because it's so good.
Oh,
the dude won a Nobel Prize for literature.
We have his other book, right? You told me to get that I did buy a couple months ago.
What?
Remains of the Day? Is that the same guy? Yeah.
I have that one.
Okay, yeah.
I still have to read that.
Yeah. We have to read that. They're
going to get mad at me for cracking my knuckles next.
Well. Here,
Mama Bear is going to be mad at me.
Yeah. All right. Where are we going next?
I don't know if you...
I am going to go lighthearted now because this is completely out of my wheelhouse, but I'm so glad that I said yes to the publisher when they offered it to me, and that is Amari and the Night Brothers.
Oh,
by V.E. Alston.
I finally... So remember the other night I went like crazy because I realized that Audible was having...
Yes, Audible, yeah.
Yeah, it was having a Cyber Monday deals.
Yes.
I got that on audiobook.
I'm so glad you did. Look, we are not middle grade readers. People know that. But I wanted to support...
But everybody loves that book so much.
I know.
I've never heard anybody say a bad word.
Because there's nothing bad to be found about this book.
It's like everybody's just like, I love Amari. She's a badass. I love this book. This book is phenomenal.
Because it was everything. And although I'm not a middle grade reader, I wanted to support this black, male author. This is his debut novel. And sometimes I get caught in that, like, I'm not really that reader, but like I want to support, this author. But this time I did read it. And so Amari has this brother who is into some like magical things, but she's not aware of. And he dies, and basically she goes on a search with some clues that he left behind to find out where he went and what's going on. And she ends up in this school, and it's very... Oh, I don't want to say that, but it's very reminiscent of other stories that dealt with magical schools and competitions and things of that nature.
Yes.
And
there are many books that are like that.
Yes, many books like that. So, but Amari is adorable. She's feisty. She's smart. The cast of characters ranges from kids you want to strangle to kids you want to love and hug.
Aww.
There's lots of adventure, and it's really fun. The competitions are great. The little mystery is great. And you really have just a fun ride the whole way through. I think for a debut middle grade novel, this is pretty damn good. And this is the first book in a series. And I want to say the follow-up comes out next. I need to check. I'll put it in the show notes.
I think it comes out soon. I'm almost wanting to go jump on Goodreads, but you'll yell at me because...
You can jump on it on your phone.
I'm not good at doing things on my phone.
I'll do it. So I don't know when it's coming out. I'll check. But whenever it does, I am going to get the next book because this was too fun. I mean, you know how you read some books and you feel like you've just been at the carnival? You know what I mean? Because you had such a good time. Okay, so this comes out February 1st, 2022. I'm probably just going to pre-order it. And that's how I felt. It's like I was at the carnival, and I was on all the fun rides, and I had a corn dog and a slushie.
I'm trying to get you where you're not like...
And I had a great time. That's how I felt when I read Amari and the Night Brothers. So,
good.
Thank you, Baltzer and Bray, for sending me this to help with the promotion of this wonderful book. Amari and the Night Brothers by V.E. Alston.
I'm glad that they sent it to you because that makes me get it because you were in love with it, and then...
Remember when I was reading it, I was like, this book is so fun.
I don't get everything that Naomi loves just to get it, but like, it's like Naomi will rave about a book, like Black Buck, right? You rave about Black Buck, and so now it's on my radar. And then, this person raves about it, and then the next person raves about it, and then we interview like Akili, and Akili raves about it, and then I go and I look here, and I'm seeing it on this platform, that platform, this thing, that thing. I'm like, fine, I'll just get the fucking book at this point. The universe is saying,
the universe is telling you must read it. Yes.
So I gotta.
I'm reading Black Buck again with you.
That's fine with me.
It's again.
I'm surprised you don't already have your Book of the Month box because I think you live next door to Book of the Month.
They're slow this month. It's en route. Normally I would have had it by now. Every now and then it's slow. Meaning I get it in the actual month that that it's supposed to be delivered.
Naomi has sometimes gotten her Book of the Month like on the 31st of the month before.
Most times.
And I'm like, how? And then we'll have ordered them the same day, like maybe 35 seconds apart, and mine arrives way later.
Yeah, if you're a Book of the Month subscriber, let us know how long it takes for you to get your boxes. All right, so you're up next.
I'm going to cheat a little because I have some TBR Lowdown stuff in here.
Oh, do you
we'll
now?
Start with good old Sorrowland by River Solomon.
Well, it was fantastic.
Because every River Solomon book I wish I could read for the first time again because it's just so beautifully weird. And discovering how they're going to create that just impeccable narrative while also being weird.
Right.
It's just it's fun. Like, it's just a fun ride. I know that they're gonna take me on a fun ride. And this was, I don't remember what month we did this as a pick, but this book, how are we describing this again? So this book follows
I know, it's hard to describe.
Fern, who is a young black mother. She's also albino, and she has escaped from this community in which she was living, which was made for, it was just a black community that was made almost like a little black colony where everybody just, you know, and they governed themselves and they did all their things. And she has 2 young children, and there's this sort of, she's running from something, and she's running from the community, she's running from something, and there's also things happening to Vern's body as it's going along, and it's just this, I don't even know how to describe it and not, like, give stuff away beyond that, but, like, you follow her journey, you figure out what exactly she's running from, you figure out what it is that's happening to her body, and how those changes affect her at the end. Have I spoiled anything yet?
Nope, you're still good. You're still good. You're good. Nope, keep going.
So it's like magical realism. It is political commentary. It is just, it is so good. It is beautiful and so very weird.
It is. It is all those things.
And I love it. And you need to follow Vern. Like, and it's queer, and it's all the freaking things. Go read the book.
It is. It was wonderful. It's beautifully horrific.
Yes. There is some body horror.
It was
if
great.
That's not your thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has that much body horror. Like,
it's not. It's just it comes to a point where the body horror is really,
it happens.
Right. It's just there. It's like we were leading up to it, and then boom, it happened, and then it was done.
Yeah.
So it's not like the whole book, you're experiencing body horror.
Yeah. But I mean, I loved it. Absolutely loved this book.
It was so good.
And I'm so glad that we picked it as a TBR Lowdown pick. I mean, look, it's like all tabbed up, and you can tell I loved it.
I regret not buying a copy. I knew I was going to regret. I read the first 10 pages, and I was like, I'm going to regret not buying this for myself.
Well, I think did I have an e-arc of this? No, I didn't have an e-arc of this. I had the audiobook of this, and I was like, oh, I'll just listen to it. And then I started listening to it, and I was like, no, I need to read along. Like, I need to read along and mark it up and do all these things. Ooh, stop wobbling. But it's so good. And I think a lot of the people that read this with us actually liked it too, because I was getting little messages here and there from people who I don't think this is normally what they would read.
Exactly.
And they were finding the beauty and the joy in it. So it's like, it can be a little bit potentially off-putting, I guess, if without knowing anything, but just trust it, go for the ride.
Trust it. That's the key right there. Just trust it.
I just don't think River Solomon could fail you. Their brain is just, I want to go inside and see how, I said this once before, I want to sit inside their brain and just see how it works.
Yeah, I definitely need to get back to In a Kindness of Ghosts because I DNF'd it a couple years ago.
This would be a fascinating interview for TBR Lowdown.
It would. I'm with that. I'm with that.
So
all
if
right.
anybody has an in with the Rivers Solomon.
Okay, my next one is The Dearly Beloved by Kara Wall.
Ooh, have I heard of that? I don't think I've heard of that.
I don't know. I always tell people to buy it. Now, my memory's fuzzy because I read this in January of 2020. But it follows 2 couples, Charles and Lily, James and Nan. I believe Charles was supposed to follow his father's footsteps and become a professor of sorts, but something happened in his life, and he was basically led to ministry. And I can't remember what James did. I don't think he was in ministry, but he married a woman, Nan, who was very devoted in her religion. And so this book follows these two couples through decades of, them being friends and their relationships. And I believe that, who was it? I think it was Charles, the one that went into ministry. He was married to a woman who really had a lot of doubts about faith in general. And so you can see like all the contention that these couples had in their marriages as it related to religion and faith. And how the friendship of these two women came to be, because it wasn't always so. And also the friendship and the mentorship that the two men provided for one another. It was quite the journey of the two marriages and the friendships, and it was very emotional. This book, and I'm not really a crier of books, but this book, I was bawling my freaking eyeballs out so much because everything was so heightened, because you're talking about marriage, motherhood, spirituality, faith, careers, and something just hit you so hard in the heart. You just couldn't help but break. Yeah. This is one of the best books I've read ever, and I wish more people would read it and talk about it. It was very, very good, and I'll probably read it again at some point. At some point, I'll probably read it again, but it was very good. I think a lot of people may not pick it up because it's not like a God book, but I mean, one of the major topics is faith and spirituality and religion. But it's about more than that, because you're dealing with people, friends, married couples. So
I feel like you're giving really, really good, like slightly more obscure recommendations. And I'm like, here are all the books that everybody could guess. Like,
nobody was going to guess Sorrowland. Oh, and that was The Dearly Beloved by Kara Wall. Nobody was going to guess Sorrowland. And I still think people are very hesitant to pick that book up because they just don't know. Like, they can't off the break just figure out what it is. Yeah. And it feels so unfamiliar that they're hesitant to give it a try. That's what I think. I think that book still needs more, like, let's talk about it.
All right. I want you to try to guess what book I have in my hand.
The Starless Sea.
No.
To Sleep with a Sea of Stars.
No.
Hang on. Give me one more. Wait a minute. Oh, no. Is it? I don't know. Well, obviously. I knew you would say that one. I've talked about it enough. I'll let you have it.
Oh, if we don't talk about The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr.
then it's not a TBR Lowdown podcast.
Every episode, it's not a TBR Lowdown. It just isn't. It isn't. I don't think I need to explain what this book is. You can literally probably cherry pick any episode we've already recorded from this point back and learn about this book. Yeah. But it is phenomenal, and I will keep pushing it until the day I can't push this book anymore on people, because you just need to read this book. It is just trust the journey.
Please.
Open your mind to actually learning, I don't know, from perspectives that maybe you're not used to hearing these sort of narratives from, and just enjoy.
Don't be afraid.
This beautifully written story that needs to be dissected for like eternity.
Did I tell you that I plan on buying that copy in Portuguese and French?
Why?
So you can learn because I need it.
Is it?
Because when I go and move to Portugal and learn Portuguese, I'm going to read it again in Portuguese. Yeah, okay.
Sounds good.
And because my mom speaks a little French, I'm going to buy it in French too.
Yeah, okay. Let's go for it. So yeah, it's TBR Lowdown. Read the goddamn prophets.
Read it. Read it. Okay.
How did you not guess that? I thought for sure you would guess that.
I don't know, because we talk about it all the time. I should have guessed it. The question I've been trying not to ask, or the thought I've been trying not to have is, I wonder what he's going to do next. Because I don't want to go there yet. I'm still enjoying The Prophets, and I still want to read that one again. The Prophets is one of those books where there's so much in it, it needs a couple of reads.
I wonder if he's going to be more like a Donna Tartt in terms of style of author, where there's many years in between novels because
Probably. And I'm good with that.
And worked on the preface. So it would be really interesting to see what comes out next. Yes, but how long it takes him to craft that, because it's probably going to be phenomenal.
He doesn't.
He's not. I don't get the sense he's going to be a churn them out every year kind of author.
I don't. He doesn't strike me as an every year or even an every 2 year author. I could be wrong, but my gut tells me he's not. And if I have to wait another 10 years to get a book from him, then that's just what we're going to damn do.
10
because
years?
He's incredible. The fact that was his debut novel.
I know.
Like, what?
It's so freaking good.
It's amazing. All right. Okay. I'm coming in hot with a book that I got last year from Algonquin. Thank you, Algonquin. I love you all. And that is His Only Wife by Peace Edzo Medi.
I still have to read that.
Ma'am, yes, you do.
I do have it.
I feel like I've had they have sent me so many copies of this book.
I feel like Algonquin with you, that's right. It's Algonquin, right? They love to send you like 13 copies of every book.
Yes. Give them away. Yes.
The only reason I have an Algonquin book is probably because you've given it to me.
Yes. This one, I just feel like, I know people read it and loved it, but I still feel like it's like a sleeper hit. So anyway, what's her name? Her name, we're following, these names. Effie? Because I feel so bad if I say a name wrong.
That's also half the reason why I didn't really give too much for Strange the Dreamer, because I can't say anybody's name.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say a lot of names, but Effie gets married to a man in absentia. Well, he's in absentia. He's missing. Well, he was absent. And it's not really revealed initially why he wasn't there for their wedding, for their joining of families. But hang on.
You can get married in absentia?
Apparently in Ghana you can. I'm trying to make sure
Then Henry Cavill, can we go to Ghana and you don't have to show up. I'll just marry you.
Right?
And then I'll hunt you down and do naughty things to you.
Oh, okay. All right. I almost spoiled something. That's why I had to slow it down. Okay, so after he gets married to this man in absentia, it's not really known why he wasn't there, but later on, things are revealed, and how do I say this?
Don't you spoil it.
I know, I'm trying so hard. You know what? That's all I can say.
It's hard.
That's all I can say, because, that's all I can say. I am going to say it's fantastic. It is so addictive. It is a page turner, and the turns this story makes, it will blow your freaking socks off. This is like a soap opera, like a Ghanaian soap opera in a book. It was wonderful. It was wonderful, and I was here for the ride the whole way through. But that's all I can say about it.
Naomi loves a good family drama book.
Oh, the drama.
So much drama. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go. I feel like we're down to 4. If you've ever paid any attention to me books, you know that these are going to show up. So I'll start with maybe one I don't talk about enough, but I does have a special place in my heart. And that's Normal People by Sally Rooney. I know that I'm a basic white girl, but
everybody apparently likes Sally Rooney.
No, not everybody. She's got her diehard Rooney heads, and then she's got everybody else. But this book, she just struck a chord. I was in these moments. I've been in that relationship where you have, it never quite works, but you also can't ever quite escape each other. And you love each other. You love each other madly, but it's absolutely never going to work. And you're a young adult, and you're going through all the young adult things. You're trying to establish yourself in your 20s. And I cried my eyes out.
Really?
Because there were just parts where it was, and there's parts where, sorry, I got distracted by the flames reflecting in the thing, where Marianne you can tell she's depressed, and she's doing things, harmful things to herself, or allowing harmful things to happen, and it's not necessarily because maybe she's really into that or she likes it, but because it's almost like you're hurting, so you want to feel pain. Yeah. And I love this book. This book in particular, I just loved it so much. And I'm waiting for, in December, I'm going to read Beautiful World, Where Are You? But
I was going to ask you that next. I couldn't remember if you've read it or not.
I haven't. I've been trying to find a day where we're not recording, where I'm not doing something else, where I haven't been called in all night, and
so you can have a rainy day
here, and I just want to have a day where that's all I do, and it's calm and relaxing, and it's just me and the dog, and I haven't had it quite yet.
Yeah.
But it's gonna. I'm gonna make it happen this month, so because I need to read it. But I loved it. What I'm mad is that I have this version from Book of the Month. I have Conversation with Friends. I have. Beautiful World, Where Are You from Book of the Month, but I don't have Conversation with Friends, and I need that, and the Book of the Month doesn't have it.
I was getting ready to say, was it a Book of the Month pick?
It irritates me. This is the only negative thing I have to say about Book of the Month is when you can't get everything from Book of the Month. Whether it's a series or just an author that you like, it's so hard.
Yeah, you don't know, like, if they choose an author, and you don't know if they're going to choose that author every time they come out with a book or not.
Yeah, so. But, yes, but here's the thing that, like, a lot of people I've heard found really annoying when they were reading Normal People was she doesn't use quotation marks.
Okay.
And I don't know why she doesn't use quotation marks, and I don't care, personally. It is off-putting in the beginning. But then eventually, when you get wrapped into the story, I didn't notice it.
Well, who was it that didn't use any punctuation? Was it Bernadette Evaristo and Girl, Woman, Other?
Yes, and I was just reading Ilse's caption. She DNF'd that. Ilse, do you remember Ilse?
Mm-hmm. Traveling Bookworm
over on Bookstagram. I think the O's in Bookworm are like zeros, but anyway.
Yeah.
She's lovely, beautiful woman, very sweet, and she just DNF'd that because she just couldn't get through the punctuation.
She's probably just listened to it.
Yeah, like where she was trying to read it, she just couldn't do it. So, but I have it on audio, so maybe I'll just listen to it.
Yeah, I think because it was free on Audible, so I have it too. So she has another book that I want to read, Mr. Loverman, one of her earlier works.
Mr. Lover.
Yeah. So I think it's queer. So you might want to look into that too. Yeah. Mr. Bombastic. Yeah. Okay. Don't flag us.
Copyright strike.
All right. My next book is Till the Well Runs Dry.
Oh, I still need to read that, but I have it now. I have it.
You have it now. Thank you for getting it. By Lauren Francis Sharma. This is one of those books where you say, you know what, it's a Saturday. I'm just going to read for a little bit and then do some other things. And I sat down on my good comfy chair and I read a little bit. She does have a
very good comfy chair.
I do.
It vibrates.
It does. And it reclines. And it's amazing. And I can still be nosy and watch my neighbors as I'm reading. And I started reading, and then I couldn't stop.
Grandma.
I am. I couldn't stop. I basically read the whole book in one sitting. I didn't know I was going to get, again, all this family drama. So we're in the small village in Trinidad, okay? And what's that woman's name? Marcia. Marcia is a seamstress. She's got her own little side hustle going on. She's got a pretty good damn business for herself, right? She got a couple of kids or whatever, and she meets this guy, Frank. Yes, his name is Frank. And Frank seems to be a good guy. He's, romantic and all these good things.
I feel like every Frank is the same.
Oh, all Franks are fucks. So
I didn't say it, you did.
It's not Frank. I always say Frank. It's Farouk.
Oh, okay.
It's Farouk.
Well, we just let the cat out of the bag on how we feel about Franks.
Yeah. Farouk is...
Frank.
Farouk is something else. He's either Indian or something like that. He's not, is it Trinidadian if you're trying to help with words?
Trinidadian?
Trinidadian?
Trinidadian? I don't know. They're from Trinidad.
He's not that. He's something else. So
we read books. We speak English. We do. Good.
They get together, and again, on the outside, he appears to be just a wonderful, wonderful man. But as the book goes on, other things are happening with her and Farouk. And when I tell you, it gets messy and complicated, and things are done that are so hurtful, in my opinion, unforgivable. But
you get that, Frank.
It's a hot mess. So you've got the woman Marcia, you've got Farouk, you got Farouk's mother, who's also a trip, also who doesn't like Marcia. All these dramas that are happening in this woman's life.
Mother-in-law.
And the path that she goes on with Farouk was so frustrating to witness. It just drove me insane. But it was also so juicy, I could not stop reading.
So you're telling me I have to read this sooner rather than later?
You have to read it sooner rather than later. I mean, it was just all the drama.
Okay, fine.
It's going to make you want to pull your hair out. It's going to make you want to pull Marcia to the side and ask her, what are you thinking? It's going to want to make you smack Farouk. Maybe push him down a well with no ladder. You're going to want to tell Farouk's mom to mind her business. It's all the things. You're going to have all the emotions.
Would it be crueler to give him a ladder that just isn't tall enough?
Or that. Or that. And slather it with like sticky glue.
With like butter.
Right. Maybe
pig fat.
Exactly. So it was just one of those kind of books where it's just drama filled, but also there's a really big secret at the heart of it that she's trying to keep. Mm-hmm. And so when that comes out, it's a whole thing. This book was very exciting.
All right. I'll read
it. It was just very exciting. So that is Till the Well Runs Dry by Lauren Francis Sharma. And again, I think I did like a Google search for Caribbean novels to read.
Yeah, because you read that for Caribbean. How did they say it?
Read Caribbean Month or something. Yeah. Yeah.
And this was like Carib's Month or something. They made some funky word out of it.
This wasn't this year. This was last year when I bought this book. But I'm so glad I own it. I'm so glad I own this book.
I own it too. We found it at McKay's.
Sure did.
We'll read it.
Sure did.
All right. How obvious are we gonna be? Let's look at my three little piggies.
Piggies with home.
All right. We'll do the littlest piggy first. It's only little in height. It's not little in thickness. She's short and stout, but she's a little life.
Yeah. Yeah, a little life.
It seems weird to ever want to experience this for the first time again, but I kind of wish I could, because this book is just so heartbreaking.
Yeah, it really was.
Naomi likes family drama. I like to cry.
Yeah. Yeah, you cried your eyeballs out on this one. You guys can watch her reading vlog.
It's just me hysterically crying behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Do I need to explain what A Little Life's about? No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. If for some reason, misery porn isn't your thing,
but it's for me. But I don't think it is. Now that I've read the book, I don't like when people say that. I don't feel that's what it is.
I feel like if you're not okay with really, really like raw, like the wind touching your bare tooth root raw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Emotions and feelings and issues, then you're not going to do well with this. I mean, this is like stripped bare human emotion, and a lot of this is outside of what might be considered norm, like what happens.
Right.
But then there's also things just within the four friends that are very real things that happen in friend groups, that are really real things that happen with people who find family because they don't have their own. And it's very moving, and it's Willem is a saint, and it's just, you will fall in love with these characters, and it's so good.
I kind of wish we would have talked about it on the podcast when we finished, when we first... Wait, was our podcast live when we...
No,
we hadn't even launched yet.
I read
I'm sorry.
this in May. Your video went away again, just so you know.
Oh, what? I can still see myself.
I know, I can't see you. It's okay.
Oh, crap. Okay. Yeah, what I didn't expect was to have a really deep feeling of frustration with that book, with the character. Mm-hmm. That surprised me.
With Jude?
With Jude, and with who was the am I going to spoil anything? Yeah.
Oh, with JB, the actor?
No, not the actor.
The architect?
The one that he ended up, and yes, because that's the one.
No, with Willem.
Car accident.
That's Willem.
Okay, so with Willem. So I didn't expect to be frustrated with Jude and Willem. That was a very surprising feeling that I had throughout some of the book, and that it really shocked me, because
you really grow you really grow attached to these characters, especially Jude and Willem, and I feel like you really want them to be okay.
Yeah.
And I think, like, you understand, like, Jude is heartbreaking because as his story unfolds and you see just why he is as fucked up as he is, and you can see why it's so hard for him to escape his past and his try not to spoil too much, but escape from his coping mechanisms and to trust others and to believe that he deserves more and all of this stuff. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking right up until the end, because he just...
I mean, it is. I'll tell you where I got frustrated. So a big part of me was like, why won't you go to therapy?
That is one thing that really irritated me, is that their therapy wasn't a big deal. But I wonder if some of that's because of the time in which it's written. I mean, this is, what are they, in the 90s?
Therapy was still.
I know, but I don't think that I feel like we talk a lot more openly about mental health now than we did even like 10 years ago.
Maybe, but that part really frustrated me. And then there were a lot of parts where I felt like...
But I also think Jude hid a lot of things, so not everybody knew everything about Jude. So you wouldn't know to, like, encourage him to go, right?
Well...
It was the father figure that I think started to understand what was going on with him.
Well, in my mind, I wanted Jude to realize that he needed therapy. And then on the second end was, why aren't the people around you encouraging you? Because even though they didn't know everything, they knew enough.
Yeah.
They knew enough. So that frustrated me. And also, a lot of times I felt like Willem was not being a great friend. I felt like he was enabling a lot of stuff with Jude, which I felt was dangerous.
But that's what you do when you love somebody sometimes.
Yeah, but it still frustrated me.
Yeah.
I was like,
but it's what you do when you love somebody sometimes.
This is not helping him, and you can't see it. But not frustrating me in a way, it's like, don't read the book. But, like, this is just some of the emotion that I had with those characters. And it shocked me because I was so frustrated.
Something that would have been a really good book club pick. Just to go through and talk about all of this, because there's so much in here. But
we'll have to see how Paradise is.
I know.
Maybe that's a potential.
I can't wait for that to come out.
Yeah.
And, yeah, no, I mean, I absolutely love this book. I think about it a lot. It really is a masterpiece of it. Her characters are just so real.
Yeah, I want to order that previous book about the men in the trees or whatever, people in trees, and I'm definitely going to pre-order Paradise. Yeah. Because the writing phenomenal.
Is so good. And, I mean, if you like heavy character development...
Oh, then this is it.
Yeah, so good.
This is it, yeah.
Oh, anyway.
All right, my next book is The Good House by Tanana Reeve.
You do love that book.
I love this woman.
You haven't talked about that in a while, yeah.
I don't think I've ever talked about it on this podcast, except for...
To me, you've talked about it.
Oh, yeah. Except, I think, maybe did I mention it for spooky season?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think I did. But I did a... This is why Google's your friend, folks. I did a Google search. Horror
Google's
books.
also taking all of your information, but Google's your friend.
But they've already taken it. They already have it. Just know that. They already have it. I think I did a search for something simple like horror books by authors of color. Okay? Lots of this came up. I kept seeing The Good House. I got on YouTube. I put in the same thing. And some of those like hardcore horror channels, they kept saying, you have got to read The Good House. So this is actually very hard to find, but I found one. I think I ended up finding it. Was it Abe? It may have been Abe. And so The Good House follows Angela, and she's struggling in her marriage. They are not on the best of terms. And so they decide to go to her grandmother's house, which is known for having healing magic. Her grandmother had some healing powers, if you will. She was one of those grandmothers where anyone that knew her, anyone in the neighborhood, if they had any kind of ailment, they would come to her home seeking some kind of a healing remedy. But something happens tragically when Angela and her family go to the grandmother's house, and this kind of changes the course of her life. And I guess you can say that a paranormal mystery ensues. And I didn't really know what this book was about when I got it, but it was so enjoyable. And also pretty creepy. Not like scary, but just like very creepy.
Creepy enough.
It gave you all the creepy, moody vibes. And I loved it. And I love Tanana Reeve do.
I think that I like... So it sounds like you're talking about something that would at least be gothic adjacent. Mm-hmm. And I like those kinds of horror stories. I like things that leave things up to your imagination. I like books like that. I'm still on the hunt for like really good horror books. Mm-hmm. I need a break after Nosferatu, but like I'm trying to figure out like what kind of horror do I like. I know I like gothic horror, but like what else do I like? Like what else is out there? Because horror is, it's like Rachel Housel Hall says, you know, like every story is a crime story. Like so it's that same like horror plays on all of those feelings and those emotions. It's the Good House, right? The Good House.
The Good House. Mm-hmm.
Tanana Reeve.
Tanana Reeve do.
My mouth won't say it. Tanana.
I know. It took me so long to say her name. Tanana Reeve do.
Tanana Reeve do. Mm-hmm. The do's the easy part.
Right. It's the Tanana Reeve that gets you.
Making sure I said Tanana. I fucking give up.
I know. Tanana. Listen, you're not alone. And so I own 3 of her books. I've read 2. I also read Joplin's Ghost last year when I read The Good House.
Okay,
and
I'm just ordering it. I think. Hey, I thought I saved my credit card information. I guess I didn't. We'll do this later.
So pick this up, folks. The Good House by Tanana Reeve do.
I thought it was going to be a quickle, bing, bing, boom.
A quickle, yeah. And this is published by Atria.
Nice.
When did this come out? This came out in 2003.
All right, so I think we're going to go... Okay, we can end on Queer Lady and penultimately go straight white dude.
Yes!
So, Amor Towles is one of my favorite writers. He writes just fantastic...
I understand why now.
...historical fiction. The way that he crafts his plots to give you the historical piece of his fiction is like art. His characters are always kind of a little, well, I think like in Rules of Civility, they're very flawed. Mm-hmm. And they're not as flawed here, but he uses this hotel in A Gentleman in Moscow like its own character. And it is a vehicle through which our character gets to experience Russian history in a
Right.
chunk of time, and it's so masterfully done. The food in here is phenomenal. Like, there was that pork with plums or cherries or something like that.
Yeah,
I've
something like
made
that.
some of the things that are in here. I've looked up how to make them because the food in here is phenomenal. I love a good book that talks about food. Like that, what did I just read? Light from Uncommon Stars talks so much about food, and it'll make you really hungry. But I can't explain that book because every time I try to explain that book, it just sounds like I'm high.
And that's what our friend Dree said. Dree said, "What
are you smoking?"
Come again?
I was a bonus book. I would say if you like weird books, read Light from Uncommon Stars. But I cannot articulate to you what that book is about.
Right.
It's got space. It's got music. It's got the devil, and it's got a space donut. It's got a space donut.
That's what threw our friend Drea. She's like, "Did you say space donut?"
I said space donut. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. If you're ready for a space donut, you can read Life from Uncommon Stars. But A Gentleman in Moscow is it's fantastic. I think I've talked about this before on the podcast and in a lot of places, and I hype this up a lot. But I absolutely love this.
You did.
And soon we should be starting the Lincoln Highway.
Yes.
Which is his newest book.
So I must say that thank you for pushing me to get A Gentleman in Moscow, because it was so funny because you were talking about it, and I think this was last year. And one day when I was doing my book thrifting, I walk into the Savers, and the first book that I see was A Gentleman in Moscow. And then, later, I picked up Rules of Civility. And I just read both those books last month. And I enjoyed them both immensely. So I am very excited.
I think A Gentleman in Moscow is the tiniest bit better just because of how he uses the hotel. I think the way he crafts the plot of the story is just, he's leveled up from Rules of Civility. Rules of Civility I especially love because I love anything about New York, especially old New York. Because New York, I mean, all cities are forever evolving, but I feel like New York evolves at a pace that's just insane. So many things become past so quickly. So it's just nice. I love any book that captures a moment in the long history of that ever evolving city that I love so much.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was so good.
You're welcome. I also made Jesus read it. And you read City of Thieves, right, by David Benoff?
No, I just got it. I just bought it. I haven't read it yet.
Your phone's ringing.
It is.
You
heard that?
Ringing.
It's silent. You heard the vibrating. Yeah.
I got you.
I was trying to figure out who it was.
It was you.
I didn't recognize. No, I was trying to figure out who it was. I was looking at it. I was like, I think that's work. But it's after 4:00, so leave me alone.
Go away, work.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you need to also read that City of Thieves book.
Yeah, that's been on my list for a while.
That's a book that has a lot of that could easily be on my I wish I could read it again list too, because it is it's really good. A lot of trigger warnings though.
That book came on my radar a good while ago. When I was watching something about Game of Thrones. And they were talking about, but did you also know that David is also a fantastic writer? And you should check out this book, City of Thieves. Mm-hmm. So if it hadn't been for that, whatever I was watching about Game of Thrones, I probably wouldn't have known about it until you read it.
Yeah,
recently.
And I think I read it because somebody on BookTube, and I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was an Eric Carl Anderson or just a random BookTuber or who, but somebody read it and talked about it, and I was like, well...
Yeah, and
I
so
need this.
Then ever since that interview I watched, whenever I go thrifting, I look for it. And then I finally looked up, and there it was. Mm-hmm. All right, now I'm down to my final book.
2 bonus books, Space Donuts and More Russian History.
Well, there you go. My final book.
That's why I'm weird. I'm depressed, and I like Space Donuts.
Oh, that was not work. That was people calling me about, did you know your car warranty's almost up? Yes, I know, and I'm not buying your warranty, so... Anyway,
go fuck yourself.
GTO, what is it? GTFOA. Yeah, something like that. Get the F out of here. All right, my final book, The Logger Queen of Minnesota by J. Ryan Straddle.
What is that?
One of the best books I ever read.
Have you talked to me about this?
I sure have. There are books that I tell y'all about, and y'all ignore me, like this one, like the Dearly Beloved. You guys are like, yeah, go away. Did you say Lager?
I just don't remember.
Well,
you know what it is? It's because I haven't gotten it reinforced from 75 other places after you've told me, so I can't escape it.
People are sleeping on this. I read this in I want to say the summer of 2019. I don't even know how I came across this damn book.
You were probably thrifting.
No, I bought this full price.
Oh, you were just perusing.
I went to the bookstore with buying this in mind.
Oh, probably one of your many because you also constantly research books. I don't. I just drift. True. I just drift through life like a dandelion in the wind.
That's true. Well, this was so worth it. It was worth every penny. So let me try to get things straight. So there are two sisters, Helen and Edith. Their parents die. They leave them the farm. They inherit the farm. One sister doesn't get any money for the farm. She doesn't know about it. And so she's an older woman, and she's kind of living a hard life. She's kind of like scraping by. And I gotta tell you, those parts were written so well that like my neck was getting tight because she was struggling so much. And like, that's like this fear in the back of my mind of like being old and not like having enough to like sustain and be comfortable.
Yes.
And these parts that he wrote about Edith struggling just upset me so much. So much. And so the other sister takes her portion of the money and she ends up starting a brewery. She makes her own beer, which is a big thing. And it's really the story of those two sisters and Edith's granddaughter. Is her name Diana? Diana. And how Diana deals with losing her parents at a young age, having to live with her grandmother, Edith, and then getting involved herself in the lager business. So it was really great. People keep asking me, or people have asked me over time, like, do you have to like beer to like the story? No, I don't even drink beer.
Why would you have to like beer?
I don't know, but I'm telling you, every time I mention this book, somebody asks me, do you have to like beer to like this story? I swear to you. You don't have to like beer to like the story. But you will learn a hell of a lot about the business, which to me was very interesting. So,
I mean, beer making is an interesting process chemically. It's fascinating.
It was. There's a scene that involves grandmas making beer, and I'm telling y'all, it was amazing. Get this book. I think this book is so highly underrated. He also has another book called Kitchens of the Great Midwest that I also have that I bought a couple years ago. So I may read that before this month is over. But this one right here was absolutely wonderful. Just wonderful. The Lager Queen of Minnesota by J. Ryan Straddle.
I feel like we're going to end on what is the most stereotypical book that I could pull out.
You already pulled that one out. That would be Normal People.
Oh, no. I think I can get worse.
No!
Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Are you sitting on the edge of your seat?
I kind of am.
I'm going to queen you.
Oh, I don't know. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is a pretty, typical book. What did you think I was going to pull out?
I don't know. I was really like, oh, what is it going to be? I don't know.
It's going to be like Moby Dick now.
I'm reading that this month, by the way. I told
Moby
you I'll
Dick?
read it. No.
Oh, I was like, don't read Moby Dick.
No, I promised you I was going to read Addie LaRue in December, and I'm going to read that on my vacation.
I will reread it, but if you hate it, I don't want to hear about it.
I know. I'm not even going to tell you when I'm going to read it. I'm just going to read it.
I finished this book, and my first thought, I closed that back page, and I was like, I will never be able to read this for the first time again.
Yeah. I think Jess loves that book, too.
Yeah, it struck a chord with me. I don't even know how to explain this. It's just, she lives forever. She makes a deal with the devil. She's never seen until somebody remembers her. Like, she's seen, but, like, as soon as people look away, they forget that she was ever there. Like, she doesn't exist. She was a non-entity until somebody remembers her. And just, I fucking love this book. Just read it. I love it so much. And I know that, like, you either come out of here like me, or you come out the other end and you're like, okay.
I'm curious how I'm going to vibe with it.
It's going to be written well because V.E. Schwab is a fantastic author. Like, she's very good. I love V.E. Schwab. I will read anything she writes. I don't think I've ever disliked anything she wrote.
Yeah.
But I have, like, tiers of you know, some things are like, you knocked it out of the park, and then there's things where I'm like, all right, that was fine. But, like, I'm never disappointed, ever. I'm never, like, angry. I'm always like, oh, that's fine. Like, that's good. Yeah.
I gotta admit, she does not excite me for some reason. I
know, because you say horrible things to me, like, I would burn the 6 of Crows.
Well, but she didn't write that one, so that's not so bad.
I know.
And I do think I'm going to reread that one at some point, maybe in 2022, but and our other friends have been telling me about V.E. Schwab for a while now, because you all also were like, if you see Darker Shade of Magic, get it. I did buy it over the summer, right, when I thrifted it. But, like, there's something I can't get excited about reading her. And I don't know why.
I feel like it comes out of that, like, that hate you have for Leigh Bardugo.
But that's not V.E. Schwab.
I know, but I feel like they have very...
If anybody I would have hated or be reluctant to read is that S.J. Moss girl. But I gave her book a try. She's closer to Leigh Bardugo to me, in my mind, than V.E. Schwab.
Maybe.
And I read that. What is that? House of whatever.
Crescent City.
Right.
House of Earth and Blood.
Right. And I enjoyed it.
Fantastic.
I enjoyed it.
I just feel like they have very similar fan bases. Like, you tend to...
In my mind, they don't, though. I don't even think about V.E. In my mind, I don't even think about V.E. Schwab.
Maybe I just assume everybody's like me, and if you like V.E. Schwab, you're going to like Leigh Bardugo. You think that it means you're going to like
Leigh Bardugo, I think Sarah J. Maas and Cassandra Clare. Those are the 3 I think about.
Really?
I never think about V.E. Schwab, ever, for anything.
Wow. Oh, poor V.E. Schwab. Why would you say so? I never think of her for anything. She's
doesn't
fantastic.
care about me.
So what I like most about V.E. Schwab is she always plays with this idea, or a lot of her books play with this idea of, like, what is good and what is evil.
Okay.
And it's a lot of morally grayness in her stories.
Well, I like that.
So I do think you'd like A Darker Shade of Magic. I would love to see what she could have done with A Darker Shade of Magic if she was writing it now. Because it is one of her older works. So just how much more elevated it would be. Am I the only person that puts Leigh Bardugo and V.E. Schwab sort of together in a lump?
I don't know.
Maybe it's just a me thing.
Because for me... Like, I really enjoyed Ninth House. I thought that was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it immensely.
Maybe it's Ninth House that makes me do that, because that's kind of like a crossover in that, like, vibe.
Right, but like that other stuff she's got going on, to me, that's like in the Sarah J. Maas, Cassandra Clare lane.
Or maybe it's because they read A Darker Shade of Magic, and then I read 6 of Crows, so they're kind of...
in relation with each other because of how you read them. I plan on reading A Darker Shade of Magic right before I read Addie LaRue.
I'm down with that.
Because I have both. And I don't want to read her latest work before reading her older work.
I would love, if you'd like it, I'd love to know how you feel about Vengeful and Vicious and which one you like more.
What's Vengeful and Vicious? Is that part 2?
That's a duology. No, it's a duology that she has that really, really, really plays specifically with the ideas of good and evil. And
okay, so hold on.
I like the second one better than the first one. Most people like the first one better than the second one.
Okay, wait. Okay, so is A Darker Shade of Magic a standalone?
It's a trilogy.
Oh, it's a trilogy. Okay, so A Darker Shade of Magic.
That's the whole trilogy. And then there's I don't know what order they go in, but
I have to look this up.
I don't know what order of publication, but then she also has Vengeful and Vicious, and then she also has the City of Bones, Tunnel of Bones, Tower of Bones, Bridge of Bones.
Okay, so it's the Shades of Magic series.
Yes.
Okay, I see. All right, so A Darker Shade of Magic is book 1. A Gathering of Shadows is book 2.
Yep.
A Conjuring of Light is book 3.
Yep.
And what's this
Vengeful and Vicious is a whole different zoology, completely different.
Okay. I'm tracking with you now.
She's got a lot of books.
Okay, that's the Villains series. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm with you. I got you. Vicious is book 1. Yeah. Vengeful is book 2, and then there's a little mini book in there, 0.5 called Warm Up.
I haven't read that. But yeah, no, it's. You should. I feel like you might like her.
I mean, I want to give her a try. I've got these 2 books. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give her a try. Oh, and Victorious is Villains number 3. And is that not out yet?
Oh, she's doing a third one? I didn't know she was doing a third one.
Yes, that's Villains. There's not even a cover for it.
Yeah, so it's not out yet.
Okay.
And then there's it's, she's fantastic.
All right, so that's part of my December plans too. You know how we were talking about a few weeks ago, how we were saying that we want to do a 1 chapter review? No, like a 1 chapter test for some of the older books that we've had, but we haven't gotten to yet. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of going to do this month because there's a lot of books I bought in 2019 that I haven't even read yet. And it's like, let me just give it a taste.
Yeah.
And see,
that too.
Is it a keeper or is it going bye-bye?
Yeah. But, okay, fine. Now that we've hashed this out, I think I just have Leo Bardugo and V.E. Schwab holding hands in my brain, and I just
so
assume
funny
that if you don't like one, you're not going to like the other.
That's so funny.
It's just an Alyssa-ism. We're just
right. Okay. All right. Well, I hope I like her because I don't want to break your heart, friend. I already broke it with 6 of Crows. I don't want to do it again.
Must we continue?
You look worried. Your eyeballs look worried.
I'm so worried. It's fine. It's fine. It's all going to be fine.
It's fine. All right. Well, anyway, we just gave y'all 16 books that you all should add to your want to read list. All books will be in our show notes. She's holding, if you watch the video, she's holding up editor right now. She's feeling some kind of a way about this book.
I'm just mad that I didn't get, there was this white special edition.
April has that one.
Yes, and Jess has it too, and I really want it. But I didn't pre-order it because I meant to, and then something happened, and then I forgot, and then when I went back, it was gone.
Maybe they'll restock. Do they have that thing on there where it says notify me when available?
I don't know. I'd have to look at Book Depository because that's where I order things from.
But why don't you just go to Waterstone's website?
Because I don't want to pay.
But folks, help me help her. Help me help her.
And I don't like the Barnes and Noble special edition because I think it's red, and I don't like. I want the white one because I have this one, right? And then because I couldn't get the hardback because remember that whole debacle where I ordered this special edition in hardback, but then it really wasn't there, and then it was a whole big thing, and yada yada yada, and then I finally reordered it, and I could only get the paperback. Okay, fine, and then I ordered the Book of the Month version. So I have that one. When I reread it, I will read that one so I can mark it up because I didn't want to crease this in any way.
Yeah.
So it was like one of these reads where you're like,
yeah,
don't bend anything. And then I want a really nice special edition.
Yeah,
and the only one I can readily get my hands on really is this Barnes and Noble one, and I don't want it. It doesn't give me joy.
Well, I've got the Book of the Month edition, and the only reason why I have this is because at the end of 2020, because this was one of the finalists, it was free for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not intrigued enough by her to pay money on any level for it, unless it's like $2. I'm sorry. So I got it. I said, Alyssa wants me to read this. I'm going to add it. It's free. No harm, no foul. But I do think this is a pretty edition. I like this.
No, it is pretty. They actually made it foiled and stuff.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. But I have seen that white one you're talking about.
The white one is beautiful, and I want it.
Gorgeous.
I feel like the blue, the black, and the white together would look really nice on my shelves.
Yeah.
These are the things that... These are my first world problems. These
Right.
are my first world problems.
Yeah. So anyway, folks, if you've read any of these books we've talked about, let us know what you thought about them. Or let us know if you plan to read any. Did any of these like tickle your fancy when we were giving you little descriptions of them? Let us know.
Let me know if I'm completely alone in this Lee Bardugo, V.E. Schwab thing.
I mean, maybe you're not,
I don't know. My brain works funny, so it could be me.
I don't know. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we'll have to keep the audience posted on what I thought about A Darker Shade of Magic and The Secret, the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. We'll keep them posted on me reading those books. Where am I going to land? Am I going to land in the I love her and I love those books category, or I'll pass category? Alyssa looks so concerned. But I'm losing light, and you got to go check on a dog. So we are going to wrap it up.
All right, goodbye.
And say goodbye. Bye.
Bye.